Hey guys, welcome back to another one of CCA's interview, which is part of our outreach series. For those who don't know, my name is Aaliyah. I am a CCA intern and a senior at St. Peter's University in Jersey City, New Jersey, majoring in biology, aspiring to work in the medical field. I too was born with a facial difference called Goldenhar syndrome that came with a long road of surgeries, therapies, and a lot of rehabilitation. But as you already know, it never stopped me from achieving any of my goals. So today I am joined with Justin Stewart. Justin is a 23-year-old sign model for We Speak Model Agency that is based in New York and is an advocate for the facial differences. Welcome, Justin. It is a pleasure to have you on our series. Thank you for joining us and sharing your time with us.
Hi, Leah. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
How are you today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Yeah? Okay. To start us off, would you start off by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Well, again, my name is Justin Stewart, originally from New Jersey, residing in New York City now. A sign model, influencer, and I just use my platforms to just share my story and, um, talk about my life, my story, my differences, and hopefully just shedding some light on the things that we deal with in our community and how we take those challenges and push through and make something great out of it.
I love that. And from what I see on social media, you have such a powerful and inspiring platform. What is your main goal or message you're trying to put into the world?
I would say that I just try to just be myself, and whatever comes out of that is what I'm okay with.
Mm-hmm.
Um, being authentic and being who I truly am and who I was made to be is something that um, is very important to me. Um, and I love being able to showcase that on my platform. So the people that come in contact with it and they can take something from it, it means a lot to me. I know our facial difference community is a really, really big community.
Very.
And we have all different kinds of people that do all different kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
So for me to be in the modeling industry and doing what I do, I, I know it's important. And I know it means a lot because representation is everything for us.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just trying to do my part.
The big question is, how did you even get into modeling? Because that's crazy, but it's such beautiful, Like, how did you get into modeling?
Yeah, that story is really crazy. I mean, I was just in high school. I actually was in college, my freshman year of college. I was leaving high school, going into college. And I was just on social media, like just sharing my story. Like this is before TikTok was like a big thing. I was just on Instagram, um, sharing my story. And not because I was an advocate at the time, but I was more so searching for community,
Mm-hmm.
and searching for people that were going through the same things as I was. So I was on social media just talking about some of the things that I was going through, whether it was like things that I was dealing with my peers in school, or just doctor's visits and that side, the medical side of my facial differences, anything that was around that, I kind of just put it on social media because, like I said, I was just like craving that sense of community.
Mm-hmm.
So I started out there just sharing my story on Instagram, posting a lot of pictures and captions that were, thoughtful and described some of the things I was going through, and it kind of just caught fire. Um, and things started to just kind of snowball from there. And through social media, I was able to gain like a lot of attention from different media outlets and other things like that. And that's how the modeling came about. I just had an agency reach out to me and they were like, "Hey, you ever think about being a model?" And in my head, I'm like, "Absolutely not." Like I never thought that would be possible. Honestly, I didn't, and I never saw anybody that looked like me as a model either. Like in the front row, you know what I'm saying? Whether it was modeling or TV or just any form of entertainment, like I didn't really see anybody that looked like me. So I really didn't think it was possible, but um, through talking with them and kind of figuring things out, I was able to make that possible for myself and for our community. So it definitely means a lot to me. And that's how my career started, and I've been modeling ever since.
And you said you basically started on social media, and social media is like, I would say like it's a good space, but a crazy scary space. And I don't know, like, us with facial differences, for me, I think it was like very debatable for me to be even on social media. Like it took a long time for me to like, oh, like, should I post it? Like, should I share my story? Like what gave you the courage to like even put yourself out there? Because like I felt like that took a lot for me to do that.
Absolutely. I agree. And like I said
In the beginning, I didn't even think I realized that I had courage in the beginning. It was just me literally looking for, again, community, like that sense of community, like companionship, or just somebody to be like, nah, I know what you're going through, and I feel you, I can relate.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly didn't have that around me, and I didn't have um like a good support system around me as far as peers and friends. Like I had great support when it came to family, but as far as like friends, like those middle school, high school years are really challenging times for, to be an adolescent, just trying to figure out life and just it's just crazy.
Right.
So again, I was just searching for literally anything. Like, hey, y'all know what I'm going through? Like anybody can relate. Like it was kind of that kind of thing
Yeah.
on social media. And then I would say as time went on, I definitely gained, I guess, recognized the courage when
Yeah.
I decided to be consistent with it
Mm-hmm.
and continue to share once the attention came. Because when the attention came, it was kind of like, it was really interesting. Like part of me enjoyed it, and the other part of me was really scared and nervous because I was never used to so much attention.
Right.
And social media
is very tricky. Like people are gonna talk about you when you're doing good. People are gonna talk about you when you're doing bad. Like you kind of just have to have a strong mind and know like your mission. Like if you're on social media for a specific reason, like yo, my mission is I want to be an advocate. Like
Mm-hmm.
you always have to have that in mind because these people on social media will try to trick you out of that, or you read too many comments and you'll forget like why you even started in the first place. And I still have that problem sometimes as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think courage is the perfect word to use because social media is like it's it can be scary. You're literally putting yourself out there to random strangers, people that don't know you.
Literally.
So
I totally agree with you, because I'm kind of in the same boat, on Instagram. Like I started posting like pictures of myself, videos, advocating. And it's crazy because like I be getting DMs from people like, oh my God, Leah, how are you so confident? How are you? And I feel like that's such a hard question to answer because like how do you answer that? Because like I don't know what to say. Like I was just brought up in a good household, my family, they were both all strong and all this stuff. So it's like, like I don't know how to answer that, but I don't know. I don't
I I can relate though. I can definitely relate. Like when people ask me like why are you so how are you so confident? Or a question I get a lot is when did it happen?
right.
I was just like for me, I really don't know. Like it just happened on its own. Like similar to you, like I have a really strong family background.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that had a lot to do with it as well. But there was no like magical light bulb moment. It kind of just happened over time. Like I feel like when you just grow and you just get a little older and you have like a very supportive group around you, it kind of just happens naturally with age and a little bit of maturity. Like, yo, this is the body that I'm in. You can't
Right.
change it. You
Right.
can't get rid of it. Like we just gonna have to figure it out and we gonna rock
Right.
out together. And
Right.
that's kind of the mindset that I had. Like I used to look myself in the mirror and just be like, you're stuck with me. Like this is it. Like it's just gonna be us. So I mean, confidence is definitely something that you need when sharing on social media and putting yourself out there. But I think everybody's situation is like subjective. Like it'll come over time.
Right, right. And would you say modeling transformed you into the person you are in today? Would you say that or no? Well, it had like a part of it.
I think that's interesting. I think
It did.
Uh-huh.
I think
before I was a model,
I was on my way there, and becoming a model just like sped the process up years. You know what I'm trying to say?
Mhm.
And I think it's so interesting.
Like modeling has done so much for me. Like modeling it from the sense of the work itself as a model, and modeling from the sense of what I've been able to do because I'm a model has
Mhm.
like done so much for me and my career and my family. Like
I can't even
really put it into words like how my life has just changed. Like one minute I was in school, I was like
Mhm.
trying to figure things out. Um,
kind of just like
uh,
on one path. Like I was
moving in one direction, and
Mhm.
then because of it, it has completely transformed my life into something, you
Right.
know, completely different that I tell people all the time, like I literally
could have never imagined.
imagine, you know. So I'm just
Super thankful.
super appreciative of like all the opportunities that I'm
Mhm.
given, and we're just we're just out here just grinding for the community and just trying to, you know, be a light and be
Mhm.
somebody that, you know, that our younger selves would be proud of, you know.
Right. Now this was definitely meant for you. Like you are literally killing it. Like you're such a natural. Like every time on Instagram I see a post of you, I'm like, yo, he's out here representing. Like you are killing it.
Yo, I appreciate that means a lot, for it really means a lot. When you're like when you're like working in your craft, like even as a model, and I can say the same for any other like profession. Like I feel like at first, like I was just really
Like thankful and appreciative of
Mhm.
the opportunity,
opportunities and not necessarily sure of like
the history
behind the industry, or
Mhm.
not necessarily sure on like what to do. Like I really have taken like the past few years to really hone in on my craft and like really learn what
Yeah.
it takes to be a model and like really work and really practice and really grind. So I appreciate that. I really do.
Of course, of course. I'm curious. When you were signed as a model, what was your family's reaction like? I'm curious. Or
Um,
it was
Interesting. I feel like they were happy for me, but they weren't really sure what it would turn into either.
right.
they were kind of
It's
just
like, we're really not sure. But for me, like I had really close relationships with some of the people that were with our agency, and they did
an incredible job of what
like recruiting me. Like it was like I felt like I was in high school and I was like one of the top basketball players in the state. Like they were calling me, you know, DMing me on Instagram, make like, you know what I'm saying, tapping in, trying to make sure I was good and asking questions and just trying to, you know, make this family atmosphere that we have at our agency. Um, and I think that played a really big role. So when I signed, I was like, nah, this is it. Like this is
Mm-hmm.
gonna turn into something big. Not necessarily knowing how big it was gonna get, but I knew it was gonna be like a step in the right direction. When it came to my family, it was kind of just like, let's just see how it plays out, you know? Like they weren't really too sure.
Yeah. And I literally see you like on every blog, I would say, like on Instagram. I'm like, yo, this another blog on the Telfar. Oh my God, this is crazy. Like you're like getting like so huge. I'm like, oh my God, like, and I know him. I'm like, oh my God, this is so cool. But my next question for you is what's your favorite aspect of working in the modeling industry?
Oof. I would say like looking at like seeing the vision being brought to life. Like you have like a casting director who picks like the people, so they have the vision on what models they want, like what facial features do they want, what body types do they want, what,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying, skin complexion, skin tones, like all that kind of stuff. Like they
Really?
have the vision on what type of people they want, right? Then you have like wardrobe, like okay, this person has the vision of like the clothes they want to wear and what type of material is going to be, how is it going to fit, how is it going to look on camera, how is it going to look on this kind of, like how's it going to look in water, how's it going to look, you know, like they
Yeah.
have all that stuff figured out. And then you have like the people who put the story together,
Mm-hmm.
like this is the story that we want to have, and then you have the models that kind of just do what our job is to help them bring their story to life. So
Right.
kind of just seeing like the end result of like the vision of what they want to put together is honestly like something that I think is pretty cool. And another thing I would say is like the relationships.
Mm-hmm.
I've been able to build like a lot of relationships with models, just people that are in the industry. They don't even have to be models. People on set that I've met that have been like great people.
Yeah.
And I'm big on, building relationships and meeting people. So
Right.
I feel like that part is really, really important for me too. And it's been incredible. The people that I've been able to meet and the relationships I've been able to build has been pretty cool.
Right. You better network. I know that's right. Yeah.
Facts, facts.
So I know you take on more roles than just modeling, such as being a student assistant, a public speaker, and was a basketball coach. Am I right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Can you tell us more about that? I find that pretty interesting. Like you took on these roles. That's cool.
Yes.
I was a student assistant coach when I was in college before I was a model. Um,
And I've been coaching basketball.
ever since. Like my dad's been a basketball coach my whole life. We're like a sports family. My brother's coaching in college right now at Montclair State, and my brother played football for Stanford and Wake Forest. So we're like a really big like sports family.
Yeah.
Like sports is. So I've been coaching for a few years, and I work in education.
Mm-hmm.
So I work with kids throughout the day. I work at a middle school in
Mm-hmm.
Harlem. So education is like, and that's in our blood too. Like my dad's a teacher. My mom's been a principal for over 20 years. So like that's in our blood too. It's running thick in our veins. So I feel like I kind of just picked those things up from them and I just been, taking off. So um,
working with kids has always been
it's something that
um, has been pretty cool.
like I never really saw myself working in education only because my personal experiences in school weren't as fun.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was in school, it was like I can't stand school. I can't wait to leave. Like I can't wait to graduate.
Mm-hmm.
But when I got out, like I just realized that there's ways that I can help other kids that are going through, some of the similar things I went through. Like, yo, if I had a Justin Stewart in my middle school, like
Yeah.
that would have been crazy.
Like that would have been cool. You know what I'm saying? That would have been so cool. Like
Yeah.
if I had somebody that, could understand what I was going through or somebody that I could talk to about anything and everything. And I feel like I've been I've been that type of person for a lot of my kids.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of close relationships with them as well. And they mean a lot to me for sure. So it's been fun.
I wish all these schools can have a Justin Stewart because man, school is rough. Like,
Yeah, school is rough. School is rough for sure.
oh, that's another whole conversation. But I remember you said you are from New Jersey. So how was your transition, like going from New Jersey to New York? How was that for you?
I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't that bad.
Okay.
I'm probably 15, 20 minutes away, like
Right.
from where I lived in Jersey to New York. Um, but even though I was that close and it wasn't that big of a difference, like I can't even front. Like there's no place like New York City. Like it's just there's no place like it's always active, like
Yeah,
24/7.
I know.
You meet people from all different types of backgrounds, ethnicities.
Right.
Um, and it's been fun. And this is the Mecca, like this is the media capital. So this is
Mm-hmm.
like the perfect place for me to be as far as like my career goes as well. So I love living in New York. I don't see myself leaving. I don't see myself leaving anytime soon.
No, because literally that's me. Because every time me and my family go to New York, they be like, "Oh, I'm so tired." Like I'm like, "No, I love New York. Like I love the fashion, I love the people, the diversity. Like, and it's active. Like you always say, like it's always something going on over there."
Yeah.
So like I don't know why they so tired and like so bummed out when we go to New York. But like
My parents are the same way. They're the same way.
I'm like y'all can't go with me. Like I'm gotta go by myself. Like y'all gonna stay behind. I'm gonna do me, and y'all gonna do you. You know.
Yeah, yeah, but you could definitely ask. You could ask anybody in my family. Like, it's always been my dream to like
Yeah.
live in New York City. Like I used to take the train, take the bus, and come to New York like all the time, all the time. Like I have family out here. My aunt lives out here,
Yeah.
and she's been very, very vital to this whole transition and my progression with my career too. So she's
Mhm.
out here. But even when I wasn't visiting her, like I remember I used to come to the city, not know anything about the trains, and like just take the train and just walk around, just try to figure it out. Like I love New York. Like I love New York. So
That's
it's been
me right
fun.
now. I'm like trying to figure out the subway, the trains, how to get to Jersey, New York. Like my friends are teaching me like ways because they go to New York all the time. So I'm like, oh my God, like I can't go with my family. Can y'all teach me? And they're like literally teaching me right now. We getting there. We
Yo,
getting
you could learn.
You can learn. You got the A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like, you can learn. You can learn.
There's a lot of trains, but you can learn for sure.
My next question for you is how has telling your story impacted or framed your life experiences so far? I feel like I asked you that question, but if you want to add more, you can.
I would say I was listening to this guy talk a couple of days ago, and he was saying like there's nothing worse than like
An untold story. Like a story that dies.
it's like somebody that dies that hasn't been able to share like their story about their struggles and how they were able to like overcome them and move forward in their life. So I would just say, like I said before, like I really wasn't expecting any of this. Like I was literally just a regular kid, like just trying to figure my life out.
Mhm.
Um, not literally no sense of direction at all. Like not sure what I wanted to do as a career, and wasn't even sure if I wanted to go to college, you know?
And I would say even
And that is a story that people can relate to.
like,
Mhm.
we could
Move cleft over for a second and just talk about life in general. Like a
Mhm.
lot of people that can relate to graduating high school and not having a clue about what they want to do, and they're trying
Mhm.
to figure out, do I go to school? Do I get a job? Do I do this? Do I do that?
Right.
So I would just say like sharing my story, sharing my stories, because I have a lot of them. They're like
it has taught me that
that everybody goes through the same thing.
Mhm.
like whether you have
Cleft or whether you have a facial difference or anything, like people's stories are very, very similar.
Right.
And we go through some of the same things. And
Right.
I feel like if more people were to share their stories about some of the things that they go through,
you would meet other people that have
going through the same thing, and it will
Mhm.
solve a lot of problems. It will solve a lot of problems, and I think it will bring a lot of people together as well. I can't tell you how many times like I've been in rooms with people that didn't know me or didn't know anything about me, and we got to talking, and
they were from this state or
they were from here, and it was like I know I moved when I was in high school. Like I moved from Jersey to Alabama for a few years,
Really.
and that's a story in itself. Like people are like, "Yo, you moved
all the way from South. Like, yo,
I moved too. I moved to California, and you know what I'm saying? Like, there are so
Mhm.
many things that are like very similar in other people's stories. So I think it's incredible. Storytelling, the building relationships is always like a major part when it comes to just people.
Right.
so I think it's incredible.
I can relate to you because when I graduated high school, I was lost. I was like, what's next? I don't know what to do. And then when I say I was lost, like, not knowing what to do and lost within myself because I was not confident. I was so embarrassed of my story and of my face and everything. So, like, I would say when I entered college, like freshman year, which was COVID, that made everything like 10 times worse because like everything's virtual and you can't, I'm such an in-person person. Like, I got to speak to you in person, like, go out and be active. So that made my mentality like down. Like it was so bad. And then sophomore year came and I don't know. I was like, yo, Leah, you can't, keep feeling like this. Like this is such a mind thing. Like you need to control your mindset. So I was like, oh, I told myself like I'm gonna be more active on college. Like I'm going to do more programs, clubs. And then I went to this club and it was like an internship program, and it helps students to find internships in the outside world. And I was like, no, like none of these fits my criteria, like what I want to do. And then I would say a month later, the lady that I was talking to, she like you don't have to pick the internships that we have. Like, is there anything that you are doing outside?
Mhm.
And then it's crazy because that's when I literally found CCA on Instagram. And mind you, I was so embarrassed of my story, like I did not want to share it at all, like, you know. So when this lady like emailed me and was like, yo, like you can choose whatever you want. Mind you, she didn't say that for anyone else. Everyone had to choose the list that she provided out. And I was like, I had to think it over. I'm like, yo, should I really do this? Like literally like connect with CCA and like share my story. Like that's my story. That's my story to tell. And I did it. Like I literally leap out of faith. Like I stepped out of my comfort zone and did it. And here we are now. Like it just blows my mind how sharing your story can literally change your mindset and your goals. It's just crazy. Like to be where I am and to see you where you are now just by sharing your story, I think that's phenomenal. I think it's
And that's literally all it took. It's all it took for you
it.
to just share some of the things that you've been through. And
Right.
people, 9 times out of 10, people can relate, you
No,
know.
it blows my mind. Yeah. And my last question for you, Justin, is if you had a chance to speak to your younger self now, what would you say?
I would tell me you're the bomb, you're still that guy, you know. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. I feel like this is just a sidebar, but like with me personally, I feel
Yeah.
like I didn't have the confidence physically when
Mm-hmm.
I was coming up as a younger person, but mentally and spiritually,
Right.
I didn't know what I would be doing, but I always knew I'd be doing something. Like I
Mm-hmm.
knew I would be doing something big.
Right.
And I always knew that. And my mom always instilled that in me. So I would
Mm-hmm.
tell my younger self, like, you was right, prove them wrong. You're still, you know what I'm saying? You was right, and just, you know, keep being a difference maker.
Yeah.
Keep being a dream chaser.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about what anybody else has to say. Don't worry about social media and comments and all that kind of stuff. Like you're as my dad would say, you're doing all right. You know, you're doing all right.
Exactly, exactly. Well, thank you so much, Justin. It has been a pleasure chatting with you today. If our audience wants to learn more about you, where can they follow you on social media?
On Instagram, you can follow me at Justin Stewart. It's just my name. All my social media is
Mhm.
my first name and my last name, Justin Stewart. So feel free to follow and reach out.
Y'all heard that. Y'all better stay tuned to the project because he's about to blow up and y'all don't want to miss that. Okay. So we appreciate you sharing your time with us, and I look forward to chatting with you again in the future. Thank you so much.
Of course, thank you.